with LeBron James, man, this is why, and I think you said this too when we had Pappy on a couple weeks ago, and Pappy said, if LeBron and the Lakers win this, the GOAT conversation's over. And then you said if they lose the first round, I don't want to hear it. That's what I'm at right now. Like, if you want to look at his Lakers tenure in a vacuum, you got 2018, 2019, they missed the playoffs. 2019, 2020, they won the championship. It was a bubble, whatever, but they won the championship. 2020, 21, they get eliminated in the first round. 21, 22, 22, they missed the playoffs. 22, 23, they make it to the Western Conference Finals, got swept. Last 2 years, losing the first round. Last year, they got swept again. 2 sweeps, and now this year, you lose in the first round. I think the biggest problem here is something that the Lakers are really going to have to look in the mirror about, because we see the same thing with every playoff loss. And another thing we got to stop doing, is it Uchi Wally or is it one Mike? You can't say, oh, look, man, it's he's year 40, year 22, year 23. He's doing this at 40. But then we pull out, we point out he's not playing as well and say, oh, but he's 40. No, you can't have it both ways, man. We see the same cycle every year. Even LeBron's press conference. Honestly, his press conferences after he loses a series be driving me up a wall. The man takes no accountability. He going up there saying, they asked him, do you think it was unfair to you for having to play a lot of center because of the trade for Luka and you had to do more center and play small? He's going up there, well, I don't want to say anything because my man AD said something and he was traded the next week. Like, first of all, you got no trade clause. And stop acting like you didn't have anything to do with the way the strings pulled over on Figueroa. You have everything to do with all of this stuff. You can't convince me that there was not a call made to LeBron James before this trade went through. And you can't, they're the first, this is a crazy stat. It's a crazy stat. And Orlando, right. If Austin Reeves your third best player now, series contender. Through the illustrious history of the Los Angeles Lakers and the Minneapolis Lakers, this is the first time that they have been a third seed and lost in the first round. Let that have been anybody else, we have not heard the end of it. And now we're finna go through this whole song and dance over the next couple weeks, them acting like he's finna retire and them acting like he has a real decision to make about what the roster's gonna look like or any of that other crap. Let's cut it. You're gonna come back next year. You're gonna have your farewell tour, and I hope it's the last year. Because I'm fed up. I'm tired of it. I know we over here appreciate LeBron, I'm tired of watching it. My NBA viewing experience is so much better when I don't have to deal with him and his fan base. So I enjoyed very much watching this game. But the problem here for the Lakers, I know they're not going to do it. They don't have the balls to do it. And also, Rob Pelinka basically said that we're going to try to put together the best team for LeBron. They need to try to find a trade partner for LeBron. Because if you're going to think long-term, right, think long-term about where you want this franchise to go. And I'm not off Luka. I'm going to get to Luka in 1 second. They got to get rid of him. He's going to be getting paid $50 million next year off of when he picks up his option. He's not going to take a pay cut. We pretty much already heard that from the Athletic. That's a huge chunk of money that you can use to build around this roster, to tailor it towards Luka's strengths, to get you some big men. That's what they need to do with LeBron. Now, when it goes to Luka is not absolved of any blame. Luka don't even be trying on defense, which is my issue with Luka. He looks tired all of the time at the end of games. And think about last year two's roster before they traded for Daniel Gafford and went out there and, got PJ Washington. That team was kind of sorry, and then they picked him up. While I still think that Nico Harrison was dumb for the trade, I still probably wouldn't have made the trade. I don't feel him, but I feel him at the same time watching the effort that man gives up on the defensive side of the ball. He'll take a long distance three, miss it, and they complain to the ref while there's a 5-on-4 fast break going on. That stuff can't happen. We can sit up here and talk about Nikola Jokic's bad defense, which is true, but one thing you can never say about Joker is that he don't try on defense. And that's my issue with this team, man. Like, them losing is not shocking me. Them getting beat down the way that LeBron James was 2-12 in his last 14 playoff games. LeBron James had 3 points in the fourth quarter. We got to tell like it is when it comes to this. We can't just be praising this man and saying, go this, go that. But when there's actual proof of him not doing enough, say, oh, well, he's 40. That don't roll that way for me, man. Bang, what's your thoughts on this loss? Everything with LeBron and just how the Lakers went out.
Well, look, like I had said, the biggest concern that I had with the Lakers is that they didn't have no dogs. And they had no dogs on the team. And I hate to say this, and LeBron James fans, y'all might get mad at me. But at this point in his career, LeBron James is not a dog. And do you want him to be? No. But when you're going up against Anthony Edwards, who is one, you got to match that. And LeBron James at 40 ain't going to match that. That's why I put all of this on Luka. Because we can hate watch on LeBron James all we want to. It's a national pastime. I get it and all of that stuff. But let's look at the weeks before the playoffs and how everybody was killing Nico Harrison. Let's look at the last game of the season and then the press conferences and all of that. Everybody was killing Nico Harrison. Now, I know the media will love you one day, kill you the next, and vice versa. But the fact that it was a complete 180 after this series was over with tells me everything I need to know about Luka. You even got people that was like, yo, maybe this wasn't a bad trade. Maybe this might be a push. But when it happened, it was the craziest, it was the worst trade in NBA history. Here's what we got to understand about Luka. And I don't even find this as disrespect because you're going to have to show me that this is anything differently. But if we want to go back to the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of NBA players who were scorers. They get the ball in the rack. But when it gets down to the playoffs, they're going to run into better teams. And you need people around them. But they never get people around them, or when you get people around them, they end up getting traded. People like Adrian Dantley, who could just throw the ball in the bucket, and who is a walking bucket. But when it came down to it, they didn't win it. They didn't get a chance to win a championship. People like Bernard King, who is a walking bucket, and he's one of the greatest players in NBA history.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna sell you otherwise. But does Bernard King have a ring?
Nope.
There's a number of NBA players that are amazing scorers, but they never won a ring. If you want to throw Carmelo Anthony up in there, let's throw Carmelo Anthony in there too. Amazing scorer, but when it came down to it, he was never on a team that won a championship. He was not a lead on a team that went to an NBA Finals. Let's be real. What's so different about Luka and everybody I just named? He white.
Yeah.
He European. That's the difference. Jay Williams just said on First Take today, it was either Get Up or First Take. He said that Luka is 26 with the body of a 40-year-old.
Which is true. He looked like me waking up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom or grab a piece of bread to eat. Like that.
Right.
That's how he be walking.
And for somebody who plays the wing, you could get away with that if you Jokic. But he got a ring. And not only do he got a ring, he be having
Got
the
3
best games
MVPs.
of all time. Yeah, he got 3 MVPs. Luka has none of that. He has none of that. So now that this trade has happened, I ain't gonna front. I think a lot of why this has changed too is because people actually like Nico Harrison. He has friends in his business, and friends in his
Oh, for
business
sure.
don't want him to see. Friends in his business don't want to see him get destroyed the way he's getting destroyed. So now Luka and LeBron James is out the first round. Oh, we could go ahead and get his get back, so we could go ahead and play this media game to get some love back. But I'm gonna go in this lane. What I just said. Luka's gonna fuck around and go down, be one of the greatest scorers of all time, but don't have nothing to show for it. People like again Alex English, Adrian Dantley, Bernard King, Carmelo Anthony. These are players that are in the Hall of Fame. Dominique Wilkins. These are players that are currently in the Hall of Fame, but they don't have a ring to stand for, and they barely got a conference final to stand for too. And that's what Luka's gonna be. And if you are a GM, if you are an owner, you have to think about it in this way. Do you want one of the greatest scorers of all time on your team? There's going to be no ownership that says no, except for the Dallas Mavericks. So on their end, they got to prove out that this is right. But for the
I
Lakers side
got a
of
question
things,
for you. Do you think this is going to change the way the Lakers think about their long-term commitment to him? Because he has not signed an extension.
that's exactly where I was going. The Lakers are going to have to make a decision if you want to pay $220 million to one of the greatest scorers. When you look at their organization, as far as I've I've been on this earth since 1982. All I know is either the Lakers having a star and winning championships, or the Lakers being Huff. There's no middle
There's
ground.
no in between.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
So if I'm Jeannie Buss, am I aiming for the 80s Showtime? That means I got to do what I can to get Giannis. And I got to build some shit out. And I don't think they have the assets to even entertain a Giannis trade.
Yeah.
If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, you ain't got enough. I need to get a Shaq somehow, some way with my Kobe, or Kobe with my Shaq, however you want to put it. That's all we know, Scott. Even we got Scotty and Paul Gasol. That's all we know, Scott. So are we gonna have those days, or are we gonna have the older Polynese days? Are we gonna have the older Polynese and Eddie Jones days where they're competitive, they go to the playoffs, you got some good people, but we ain't getting out the first round.
And Laker
they got to
fans
figure out.
Laker fans hated that era. Like, it was fun, but that era made Magic lose. Remember, Magic came back, coached them for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was telling I don't know if you saw the Laker 10-part documentary that came out, and James Worthy said, hey, he took us outside. And he's like, you see all these palm trees look good, don't it? He said, keep fucking with me, you're gonna be in Cleveland.
Right. Like, yeah.
Like, that drove Magic to losing it.
Yeah, like Jeannie Buss is gonna have to make a decision. And in making that decision, what do you want? Do you really want to continue this legacy and win championships? Or do you want to keep a competitive team and keep what's that crypto.com arena full? You're gonna have to make that decision. That when they make that decision is gonna be made on two things: what you do with LeBron James and what you do with Luka.
Yeah.
You can, and I agree with you. Like, I totally agree with you. They need to make a decision. The decision to be made is LeBron James. He got 2 years. He got 2-3 years max. So anything you do is you're planning for that. But here's the thing: even if you say 2-3 years max, their window to win a championship is 4.
Yeah.
When you look at the age of Luka and the way he's shaped right now, their window is 4. If this is the road we going to, Luka's going to go to Carmelo Anthony route. So here's the thing here's the conversation, the part of the bigger conversation that I think the Lakers need to have. And that is, how do we want to get the players that we need to get? You got Austin Reeves, you got Rui, you got not Jaden McDowell, about to tweet. But you got a couple of first round picks.
You got Darn Connect.
You say, I ain't worried about him. I'm just thinking about the players that we've seen in the playoffs actually do something, right?
I got you.
And you got some first round picks. Who is that attractive to?
Nobody really.
I don't
but
think
you know, the funny thing about the Lakers, it's like they always find a way to offload a package that nobody should accept to get something good.
But see, here's where the Giannis thing come in. And if I am not only the Milwaukee Bucks, if I'm the league, the Lakers that put themselves in the chokehold, they back themselves in the corner. If I'm OKC, that's where, if I'm Milwaukee, I'm only talking to OKC. They got players, they got picks. You're not letting Luka go. Look, I know all of this shit that they say about Luka, talking about, hey man, he won him. He got them a ring, so he gave them what he needed to give him. Now do right by him. I'll do right by you, but I'm not taking a lesser deal to do it. If I'm Miami, if I'm LA, I'm gonna give you a deal. I'm gonna throw something out there. But if I'm Giannis, if I go to that team, I'm only around palm trees and new pussy. That's it. If I go to LA, I go to Miami to get what you have to give me back. Tyler Hero will have to come back in a trade. He's gonna have to come home. I don't think Tyler Hero wants to come home, ladies and gentlemen.
I think the Giannis potential trade, to me, I don't even think it's gonna be about current talent, because like you just said, like, even though Giannis is gonna be 31 this year, like I'm trying to even think of a team that could, outside of OKC. OKC to me is the only team where they have enough everything. Team. But even if I'm Sam Presti, do I want to gut all of that for a Giannis?
Here's the best part of OKC. Gut what? You're not trading Shy. You're not trading Shy. You could trade one of the Jalen Williams dudes. You got a boatload of picks. Even if you want to trade Chet, trade Chet. Trade him. You still got assets.
You still got
assets. Like, and that's why from the Milwaukee Bucks, that's the only team that I'm talking to. So if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's the only team that I'm talking to, because I told the Lakers you ain't got enough, and you can try to swing a 3 or 4 trade deal all you want to, it's still probably not going to be enough. Even still, you don't have enough for me. And yeah, you could probably get one if they just so happen to keep LeBron, Raymond James. You put him, Giannis, and Luka together, you better win some shit. But you've gutted your team right after that when LeBron James say it's over. So if I'm OKC, okay, we could talk. If I'm Milwaukee, if I call him, but if you trade him to the Knicks, you got to gut it. If you trade him to the Bulls, you got to gut it. If you trade him to LA, you got to gut it. This is the first time, basically what I'm getting to, is this is the first time in quite some time where a big name has come up. And I don't necessarily think that person's going to get what they want if it's a big market team.
I 100% agree. I don't think Milwaukee's going to get what they want in this package unless it was OKC. And I really think OKC, if they don't win the championship this year, I could see them more inclined to doing a deal like that. If they win it, that takes another team off the board, because then I don't see Sam Presti making a major move like that. And even let's just say a team like the Bulls, right? The problem for the Bulls is the price is going to be double because you're in the same division. I don't think they want to trade this nigga in the same conference. Nevertheless, the same division. They don't want to see that nigga 4 times a year. So to me, that's even tougher. But how much you on that? The Lakers, to bring it all back to when we were saying the Lakers, I would tell LeBron, I know for a fact this is not going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen this offseason. Y'all said 2. You said 2 or 3. I think he's retiring next year. I would be stunned if he retired this offseason. But from the way that Dwayne Wade talked, from the way that Rich Paul has talked when he's been on Pat McAfee, from the way Shams has talked, from the way Wendy and even Melo said this on 7 p.m. Brooklyn, they think that next year is probably going to be his last year. And the fact that the All-Star game is in Los Angeles, and even I know it's going to be at Intuit in Los Angeles, to me, that's the perfect way to he can get his, as much as whatever I feel about LeBron, his well-deserved, farewell tour. If there's anybody on this earth who deserves a farewell tour, it is LeBron James for everything he has accomplished. Go to the All-Star game in the city that you playing in, and if he is a Laker next year, do you know that this is gonna be his longest tenure franchise? Or tied with the
basically LeBron James and Lakers would be Kurt Angle and TNA.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I'm trying to think
all the time over here, low key.
I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, it'd be 7 seasons. So yeah, that's crazy. So that to me, it's gonna be real interesting. I think Giannis is gonna go to a team we don't expect. Like, it's gonna be a random squad that's gonna happen. But for the Lakers, man, they gotta figure a lot of things out. I think a lot of things they have to figure out more than they thought they was gonna have to figure out. Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barbershop Network.